Men are being arrested for refusing to have children. This seems like something out of a bad movie, but it is true. So today's video comes from the China Unvarnished channel. Their channel will be linked in the description of the video so that you can go check them out and support them. Watch to the end of the video to fully understand the implications of men now being socially demonized and potentially arrested for refusing to have children. Also, don't forget to follow us on Rumble. You never know what can happen on this platform. So go and follow us on Rumble. Most of our content is already over there, and we're moving rapidly to get everything available on Rumble. It's linked in the description of the video. Also, guys, just want to remind you that things are not looking so good, and the best thing you can do for yourself is to protect yourself with crypto. So let me just tell you a little bit about the Crypto Trading for Dummies blueprint available in Angry's Crypto Academy. With this blueprint, you'll learn how crypto day trading can help you earn daily profits, earn even starting small. Imagine making $30 a day with $100 or even hundreds daily trading small amounts, working just an hour a day. It's written so simply that even a fifth grader can do it. With banks collapsing and the economy in chaos, this skill is your lifeline. Click the link in the description to check it out now or just to learn about crypto in general, because we are heading for a boom. And now let's just go ahead and jump right into the video.
你就是火讯是不是？
啊，是的。
就是在出入大道买车辆。
You're the car seller he Shun, right?
Yes.
Good. We've been looking for you for days and couldn't find you. Were you trying to dodge us on purpose? Do you know who I am? Doesn't matter if you don't. After today, you'll know. You know what family planning is. That's what they used to call it.
Oh,
How old are you now?
33. Here, have a cigarette, sir.
Don't play games with me. 33, and you're still not married?
I don't want to get married. I'm enjoying being on my own.
Enjoying being on your own? I'm not here to tell you to get married, but you must have a kid. Do you have a girlfriend? Maybe a few more on the side? Couldn't you have a few kids? This is a serious requirement.
Well, I'll tell you straight, I can't do it.
Don't try to argue with me. If you don't start having kids, it's on you. Do you realize that? You'll be the one history blames. There aren't enough kids in kindergartens, not enough students in elementary schools, and the streets are empty. You're responsible for this, you know that?
如果你是一直不生小孩的话，结果我跟你说，你爸爸、你妈妈他们读书。
This video has recently gone viral across major platforms in China. Although it seems like a comedic skit, the fact is that the Chinese Communist Party has started setting up birth encouragement offices nationwide. These offices are essentially repurposed from the former family planning offices, now tasked with pressuring people to have children. One person commented, 30 years ago it was the family planning office. 30 years later, it's the birth encouragement office. They control your uterus. If they say no kids, then no kids. If they say have kids, you must have kids. The CCP's policies just keep flipping back and forth like a pancake. Recently, numerous people have taken to social media to complain. Some report that right after registering their marriage, neighborhood committees started calling them to encourage them to have children. Others say the community called just 3 days after their wedding to ask if they were pregnant. Someone's sister, who had just had their second child, received a call urging her to have a third. Even pregnant women are regularly contacted, with calls checking in to ask if they intend to keep the baby. These frequent phone calls and even home visits have left people feeling frustrated. This is just outrageous. Now, if we're not having children, the neighborhood committee is already calling to pressure us. Some of my friends have been receiving these calls recently. They immediately ask, when was your last period? Sometimes they even text. They're asking if you're capable of getting pregnant. Talk about suffocating. Why are they in such a rush? I looked up the birth rate data, and it all made sense. The numbers are grim. Our population growth has been negative for 2 years in a row, with a total fertility rate around 1. What does this mean? It's the second lowest among major global economies. Luckily, South Korea is behind us, or we'd be last. A user on Xiaohongshu posted, "This is insane. I got a call in the afternoon from the village's family planning office asking when I plan to have a second child. Given the current situation, raising even one child is a challenge, let alone two. I remember when my family had an extra child growing up. The family planning officials came and tore down our roof. My parents didn't come home for 2 or 3 years to avoid them. And now they're pushing for a second kid? I'm speechless." Another person shared, "My community called me early in the morning to ask if I'm pregnant. They said my child is almost 2 and I should start planning for another. They even offered free folic acid from the community office. It feels like this birth pressure is right in my face. Some commented, since getting married, the community has already called me 6 times, all to ask if I'm pregnant, twice a month. One person asked, is my uterus some sort of public property now? Another person commented, how ironic, before the 1990s, these family planning offices were like gangs, storming into homes to arrest pregnant women and threatening to demolish houses. Now they're calling to check on us. They even come to our door asking if we're pregnant and if we're using any birth control. It's truly absurd. A community worker also shared, I'm one of those tasked with making these calls. I don't want to do it. It feels intrusive. But as soon as they set up these new information cards, they pass them to the district office. And now those of us in family planning have to make these calls. Another person revealed that as soon as you undergo a marriage checkup or a free pre-pregnancy check, the community starts calling. Once you fill out personal and family details, you're marked as a woman of childbearing age in the system. It seems that, much like in the days of strict family planning, these women of childbearing age are once again being closely monitored by authorities. The CCP has now elevated this birth encouragement effort to a priority. After all, family planning was once a matter of national policy. Living in an authoritarian state like China means even basic reproductive rights are constantly disregarded. Many people expressed frustration. They said the same people who once dragged women out of homes and tore off roofs are now asking us to have more children. Just a few years ago, they were calling, insisting we get IUDs, and wouldn't let us register newborns without them. The community's control has gone too far. First, they prevented us from having children. Now they're pushing us to have them. The flip-flop of the family planning policy is one of the most surreal things in China over the past 30 or 40 years. And I'll stick to being the last generation. One person even asked, I'm the second child in my family, and my family was fined for having me. Will the state reimburse me for that penalty? Another added, back in 2004, my aunt lost her teaching job for having a second child. What about that? A user remarked that during the one-child policy, the rewards for parents of only 1 children were laughable, just 5 or 10 yuan a month. Now, they want to raise the birth rate through pressure and coercion. The pressure is especially intense for those born in the 1980s, who are now the main targets of these birth campaigns. Back then, family planning was strict, and many were extra children that parents struggled to keep. Now they're being pressured to have kids themselves, a truly ironic twist. It's no wonder there's a popular saying online, when I was young, they told me I was an extra child. Now they want me to have extra children.
In the future, not having kids might lead to fines. There's this department called the Family Planning Office. 30 years ago, when I was born, they came to my house, took our things, and threatened to tear down our home. They pushed my father to pay a fine, saying they'd detain him if he didn't. We had no choice but to scrape together the money. It was only a few hundred yuan, but back then that could buy a 300-pound pig. And now? I hear the Family Planning Office has been renamed the Birth Encouragement Office. People who reach 30 and aren't married or have only 1 child might face fines. If you're over 30, unmarried, or childless, they might even take you away for re-education through labor.
As the video mentioned earlier, the CCP now considers young people who choose not to have kids as sinners for all eternity. This isn't just talk. There are real measures being taken.
If you don't have kids, let me tell you, the consequences are now in the system, on your record. You understand that?
Look at the times we're in. Taxis are driverless. Factories are run by robots. What future would this kid have? Will you support them?
That's not my concern. I'm just enforcing policy. After you have a kid, can't you go back to the countryside and plant corn? There's plenty of land. You can grow corn, potatoes. No one's starving.
That's not possible.
Not possible? If you don't comply, by tomorrow, we'll take out your stove, your couch, your fridge, even your home. This isn't a joke.
Some people commented, it's fine, I still don't want to get married, let alone have kids. I'd rather pay fines or face whatever penalty, even death if it comes to that. I'm struggling to survive as it is. Another remarked, if having kids is society's responsibility, then society should take care of them. If it's a personal choice, then society should respect that. All we hear are calls for sacrifice, never for reward. If my personal struggles are of no concern to the collective, then why should the collective success or failure matter to me? Young people now see things clearly. One commenter put it well. A person's sense of collective pride depends on whether they're respected within that collective. It's not selfish, it's just the truth. China's sharp population decline isn't solely because young people don't want kids. It's largely the result of the CCP's decades-long family planning policies backfiring. Yet, instead of reflecting, the authorities blame young people for lacking responsibility.
Now, to be very clear, guys, also women play a major role in this. You have to realize that we're seeing an extraordinary shift in the way that women view society, demanding things like, red letters on a first date. A red letter is basically usually given during special occasions, Christmas, during a child's birth, during a wedding, things like that. So special occasions, it's a gift that's given to someone. But women are demanding red letters be or red envelopes, that's the correct thing, red envelopes be handed to them on first dates. And a red envelope is basically money. So like, like when you go to a wedding and like you'll even in the United States, and someone will give you a letter, give you an envelope filled with money. It's a common practice. They call them red envelopes over in China. But in the case of China right now, what they're demanding is that women are demanding that on first dates you be given a red envelope. Before, traditionally, to be given a red envelope on a date, or even especially a first date, it would be an awkward thing. It would make people uncomfortable. And now women are demanding red envelopes on the very first date. So you don't even know this person, and you have to give them a red envelope. That's not guys, that's an evening delight. That's an evening delight. That is not a wife. That's not a date. That's an escort. You're paying for an escort. All right. These are the same people that are demanding $100,000 in the equivalent of $100,000 in yuan, or $1 million just to marry them. So you have to pay them $1 million, a bride price of $1 million, claiming that it's an ancient tradition, which is actually complete crap. It's something they came up with over the last 20 years. Historically, what was done was, like for example, if you were getting married to a woman, it was not even a tradition. It was just a very nice gesture to give the family like a little money. And there were also things, and it was a very small amount of money that the husband, if he had means, would do. It was not a guaranteed thing. Some rice farmer would not be giving that kind of money to the family. The family would be grateful that the rice farmer would even marry their daughter, because if your daughter has to marry a rice farmer, then you better be grateful that she has the rice farmer, all right? Because at least he can help keep her parents alive, give them some rice during hard times. But this is the situation that has transpired throughout China. What was real in China was dowries. Dowries were very, very real. They still do exist, although they are less talked about now. And the dowry was actually paid by the wife's family to the man for the man to marry their daughter. And dowries were much, much more expensive. Like, you can have extraordinarily expensive dowries, you know, and that was actually given to the wife, that was given to the husband's family. So it was actually men that were highly prized in China compared to women. And now modern women have absolutely lost their darn minds, and they're making these insane demands. So they're part of the equation of why men are choosing not to get married, not to have children, or have relationships. Something that the MGTOWs talked about is the fact that, this is the same thing that happened right before the collapse of the Roman Empire. The Roman men in the Roman Empire walked away because basically they gave women no fault divorces. Women began rapidly divorcing their husbands, running off with gladiators. In some cases, they even deleted their husbands so they could run off with gladiators. Men stopped marrying, men stopped having children, men stopped having relationships. And what ended up happening is, I don't remember which Caesar it was. It was one of the Caesars. He said that unmarried single men were worse than all of the criminals in all of the Roman Empire. And he basically, not only did he say that, he listed them out. He said worse than all of the thieves, worse than all of the people who snuggle with others who don't want to be snuggled with, if you get what I'm saying. Worse than all of the liars. This is what he said. And he basically proclaimed that that men, single unmarried men, were not allowed to, or single unmarried men were not allowed to attend any forms of entertainment. So for example, they were not allowed to go to the Colosseum. They could not go to the play. They could not go to plays. They could not do anything. And then during the winter time, they were forced to run in the streets, chain gang style, to punish them. And even then, they still would not marry. Within 100 years, the Roman Empire no longer had a military. It was no longer able to protect itself, and it was operating entirely upon slave labor. And eventually barbarians came along, and they called the emperor's bluff, because the emperor started trying to pay them in land, not to invade the kingdom. And they called the emperor's bluff, and they pillaged the empire, and we were plunged into 1,000 years of darkness. Imagine living in caves again and eating squirrel meat. And the status of women and the livelihood of women fell down to horrible standards. And during the dark ages, women actually had to work alongside men in the fields, but their status in society had completely collapsed. Women held great positions as educators, politicians, even physicians under the Roman Empire. They basically fell lower than your average slave servant, for indentured servant during the Roman Empire. That's how bad the average woman was living during the Dark Ages. Okay, and the dark people like to say the Dark Ages weren't really that dark. They are absolute liars. There was another part of the Roman Empire that did survive, but a lot of the math and science was still, a lot of the engineering was still lost. They basically kind of separated themselves from the rest of Europe and did their best to preserve as much knowledge of mankind as they possibly could. But most of Europe was plunged into darkness, and the Catholic Church, that still retained knowledge, ruled over humanity for 1,000 years before math, science, and 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 general knowledge were reintroduced to humanity. This is the story. Don't let anyone lie to you. The dark ages were dark as hell, bro. You don't want to go there. All right, you don't want to go there. And sanitation was it was bad, bro. It was really, really bad. It was really, really bad. I keep telling y'all also, you need to be prepared for hard times, because hard times are coming. And learning how to day trade cryptocurrency is one of the smartest things you can do. Like I've said it plenty of times, go and check out our crypto trading for dummies blueprint. It's available in Angry's Crypto Academy. And with the blueprint, you'll learn how crypto day trading can help you earn daily profits, even starting small. Imagine making $30 a day with $100 or even hundreds daily, trading small amounts. So you can take $500 a day, trade $500 a day, and turn that into $100, $200 per day, just working about an hour a day, which is pretty crazy. And the blueprint is written so simply that even a fifth grader can do it. And again, even if you don't have $500, you can trade $100, and you can reasonably make about $30 a day trading $100 a day for only an hour a day. And so, you do that every day. That's $900 a month if you're doing $100. If you're doing $500, realistically, that's about $100 to $200 a day. So that's a minimum of $36,000 a year, or even $72,000 a year, depending on how often you work and how much work you put into it. And like I said, about an hour a day, you can pull this off. And the blueprint is so simple that even a fifth grader can do it. With the banks collapsing and the economy in chaos, this skill is your lifeline. You can click the link description of the video to really learn more about that. I keep on telling you guys that we have to be so careful right now, because we are not heading in a good direction. We're heading in a very, very bad direction as a society. Trump is back in office. He's fighting for us. He's trying to right the wrongs and get the ship back in order. But the truth is that no matter what he does, it's not going to stop things. That's the reason why he's moving so rapidly towards cryptocurrency. He's basically moving us to a new financial system. People are like talking garbage about the reserve, like, crypto reserve. But what the thing is that every other country is going to be rushing to establish their own reserves as well. Guys, the dollar is dead. Don't let anyone tell you anything different. The dollar is dead. Fiat currency is dead globally. Every country has been doing the same BS that the United States has been doing, where they have this fiat currency that's not backed by anything other than how much people believe in it and are willing to use it. What's amazing is that many years ago, the MGTOW has actually predicted that eventually men would be forced to marry, men would be forced to have children. And there would basically be a man with a firearm standing there, and you'd basically have to get married, or else, you'd be punished. And, as we can see, it's not going to end easy. I said this already, that a society without its men is not a society. A society without its men is a wasteland. A country without its men is not a country. A country without its men is a wasteland. Women believe that they hold up the sky, but they don't understand that the reality is that men do all the heavy lifting. All right. They basically, it's all just delusion. All right. It's delusion being fed by simps who just want to get laid and want access to easy lays and easy money, because simps are a cancer upon society. They 100% are. Ask you something. When the banks collapse, and trust me, it's coming, will you be ready? Imagine waking up to ATMs that don't work, bank doors chained shut, and millions of people left with nothing. No cash, no access to their savings, and no way to survive. But it doesn't have to be that way for you. That's why I created Angry's Crypto Academy, to teach you everything you need to know about crypto so you can protect yourself and your family. You'll learn how to buy, sell, and even day trade crypto for a living. Plus, we alert you to new crypto trends so you can profit before everyone else even knows what's happening. Right now, I've just published an exclusive investment guide inside the Academy, and it's linked in the description below. In it, I reveal the one coin that could make you a millionaire. A coin so revolutionary, it could change everything. If you missed out on Bitcoin and Ethereum, this is your second chance. This isn't just about financial freedom, it's about survival. When the system collapses and everyone else is selling, you'll be the one buying, prepared to weather the storm and thrive while others struggle to survive. Don't wait. This knowledge isn't optional, it's critical. The link's in the description. Go check it out now.
Shifting the blame and dodging accountability. In 2023, Zhao Baige, the deputy director of China's National Health Commission, told the People's Daily, "We never enforced family planning through coercion, but guided citizens voluntarily through education, economic means, and legal regulations." Her statement immediately sparked outrage. Many felt it misrepresented history, even rewriting it. Those who lived through it know family planning was enforced through harsh and coercive measures, leading to countless family tragedies. "I saw the family planning era firsthand. My family was part of what they called the overquota guerrilla squad with 4 kids. These enforcers came to our house and took everything that could be sold, the TV, the pig, even the chickens that laid eggs. My mother, who was pregnant, had to hide. She moved from place to place like a guerrilla fighter. We siblings had to borrow money for school fees, and when we couldn't, my eldest sister dropped out because we were so poor. Those were truly unbearable days." The negative effects of China's family planning policies are now coming to light. In recent years, the workforce has sharply declined, and an aging society is arriving sooner than expected. The CCP has rolled out various pro-birth policies, but they've had little impact. The CCP has intensified these efforts. According to the CCP's official news agency Xinhua, on October 28th, the General Office of China State Council issued measures for accelerating the birth rate. This includes introducing concepts around marriage and childbearing to elementary, middle, and even college students, prompting sarcastic comments that they're starting the baby-making agenda with children. The document claims to guide population development under Xi Jinping's new era of socialism with Chinese characteristics, and proposes support measures across 4 areas. The first is to strengthen birth support services, including enhancing maternity insurance, improving parental leave, and covering some assisted reproduction services under health insurance. The second measure involves expanding childcare services. The third proposes support education, housing, and employment, such as housing benefits to encourage families to have more children. The fourth measure, widely criticized, aims to create a birth-friendly societal environment, promoting positive news on marriage, family, and childbearing, as well as increasing population awareness through social education, which will be integrated into school curricula. Meanwhile, various regions have introduced specific incentives, such as a reward for 2,000 yuan for a second child and 5,000 for a third. However, people have mocked these amounts, saying, "What can 5,000 yuan even buy? It's barely enough for a few cans of formula. The small amount won't inspire anyone to have more kids. It lacks sincerity." One user commented, "If the government offered 200,000 yuan per child, plus a monthly 10,000 yuan allowance, free healthcare and education, along with reliable childcare, I'd have one immediately."
Now, just take into consideration what will happen if you don't have a kid. They will come to your house. This is what they did back during the one child policy. If you had too many kids or got pregnant with another kid, they would come to your house, destroy your roof, so you would be basically homeless, confiscate everything you own, including your animals, so you could not feed yourself, and you can be then sent off to you could then be arrested and detained for indefinitely. Under the new plans, because the same exact offices that enforced this is so interesting. The same exact offices that enforced the one child policy are now going to be enforcing the you must have multiple children policy. And the way they're operating is they'll come to your house, they'll destroy your roof, they'll confiscate all of your property, and if you continue refusing to comply, they will then send you off to a re-education camp. What's very intriguing about this is that they're really punishing men, they're punishing women and men. So women are also their uterus is also being controlled, their reproductive history is constantly on their monitor, because for the last 2 years, China's population actually shrank. They were below replacement levels, meaning there were more people that passed away in China for the last 2 years than there were children born. So their population is rapidly declining, and they're faced with a serious issue. It's really the boomers who had a good time. They're basically panicking now because no children, no money to take care of them, no money for social services, nothing whatsoever, no productivity if you have no children. So and basically, with inflation is just another form of reverse taxation. So now they're trying to pass it all on to the public. Like, we'll just, oh, you think that you have it bad now? We'll make life even worse for you, because if you don't have enough. And that's how our society views us as people. They view us as their property, and they view us as their SLAVEs, which is interesting because even during the days of SLAVERY in the United States and in global history, you had to take care of your property. You had to provide them with health insurance. You had to provide them with food. You had to provide them with housing. Okay. In modern day society, we are not given any of these things. We are not provided with any of these things, but we're expected to grind and give everything to society. So you have a society who is demanding that their property pay for their own survival and provide, and while continue to subsidize the state. It's insane. If I'm your property, then you need to basically pay to maintain me. It's the truth. It's the honest to goodness truth. If I belong to you, if I'm your SLAVE, you need to pay to maintain me. What the heck do you think this is? What you think? Why am I going to go and suffer for you? Okay. Oh, you're gonna put me in a re-education camp. Okay. Well, and what's that really going to do? How is that going to encourage me to have children? I'm supposed to just go out and magically find a woman who's going to allow me to have children with her, and then what? How am I supposed to provide for these children if I can't even provide for myself? Okay. This is basically the state is not very bright. It's put itself between a rock and a hard place, and it's expecting it's trying to you know, it's trying to turn something insolvent into something that really exists. It's like it's not going to happen. These people are absolutely and utterly insane. They've taken everything. Look at Gen Z. Gen Z is absolutely gone. They're a complete dredge upon society, and globally, even in Japan right now, they're misbehaving. Japan of all places. You have police officers handing out flyers telling Gen Zers in Japan not to get involved with things like trafficking and a variety of other horrible acts. And I'm like, what the living heck is this? This is Japan. All right. Gen Z is a train wreck globally. They're also evidently they're doing worse in school than all the previous generations. And Japan's education system was one of the best in the world. And now these kids are idiots. Like this is guy, and they're demanding that these bad muffins go have children. It's not going to happen. Not with these little scumbags. Not with these little devils. I just want to tell you a little bit about the Crypto Trading for Dummies blueprint. With this blueprint, you'll learn how crypto day trading can help you earn daily profits, even starting small. Imagine making $30 a day with $100 or even hundreds daily trading small amounts. Working just an hour a day. It's written so simply that even a fifth grader can do it. With banks collapsing and the economy in chaos, this skill is your lifeline. Click the link in the description to check it out now. And guys, also don't forget we have a sale going on over in the academy. We have a nice little weekend sale going on. If you want to take advantage of that, head over to the academy and take part in the sale right now, because you guys don't want to miss out. You don't want to miss your opportunity to learn about crypto, to get in. And what we have is we have something that most others don't have. We have support. So for example, you don't know what the heck you're doing. You can click on the support button. You can reach us. We can work with you, talk to you, explain everything, answer your questions, help you set up your wallet, do a portfolio review, everything that you can imagine. We offer pretty much almost every service over in the Crypto Academy. There's literally nothing like it out there. All right. And you can basically join right now for essentially the price of a cup of coffee. It's an absolutely great value, because right now that's where everything is heading. It's heading towards crypto, and there's all the crypto naysayers out there. Oh my gosh, I'm never crypto. It's a scam. And then the same people who are going to be in 10 cities will be, and their money is worth nothing, are going to be saying these things. These guys, this is your opportunity. We're going to see the greatest transfer of wealth in the history of the world happening. Modern women, many of them will be left out of it because they are very risk adverse, and they're going to have to go live in the woods with Yogi and Boo Boo, and you can go join them too, because a lot of you are sitting on your hands and you don't want to jump in and learn, right? Learn, invest. There was a person a few years who invested, it was like $25 in Pepe. That's a meme coin. That investment in 2024 skyrocketed to about $52 million in value. They sold about like a little over $2 million worth of those coins. And now in 2025, the coins that they have left over are now worth $64 million. So that just kind of illustrates that you can make very small investments in crypto, and just through patience, you can basically set yourself up for the future. Most of you don't need $64 million. Most of you, if you have like a couple $100,000 or even $1 million, you're really set for life if you know how to budget your money. And especially when you get a place overseas. I talked about this already, that a lot of men, the future was going to be going overseas. You'd have a place overseas, you'd come back to the US just to work, but you'd buy a house overseas, you have a girlfriend overseas. That's what's going to happen, because it's so expensive right now to try to live in the US, to try to survive in the US. It's such a miserable place. The food is such crap. The people here are absolutely horrible. America is a place designed, Western society, even Westernized societies like China, which is a collectivist country, they're designed to make you lonely. It's designed to make you miserable. It's designed to keep you depressed. It's designed to keep you hocked up on prescriptions from psychiatrists and these other con men to feed the pharmaceutical industry and make these people rich, biggest profit of their lives. It's a sick society. It's a sick society on the decline, and the smartest thing you can do is crypto, because with crypto, you guys, you can lose everything you own. And for example, in China, they're going in and they're arresting people now for not having kids. But you know what they can't take away from you? They can't take your crypto. You can do something like, store your crypto in a private in a wallet where you don't even have where you've memorized the seed. You've memorized the seed to the wallet, and you keep that's basically your recovery phrase. And you can enter that in and always gain access back to your wallet no matter what. And so you can put away some crypto in a wallet, in a crypto wallet, and have that stored. and then basically walk away. And then, anything ever happens, doesn't matter if they confiscate all of your electronics, doesn't matter if they confiscate your bank account, take everything you own, you will always be okay. You will always have money. You can always rebuild. You can always flee. You can flee China, flee the United States, go to another country, and your money will follow you. Okay. And for those that don't believe in crypto, well, God, good luck to you. Have fun with Tyrone in Tent City, because he's not playing games with you. He's the king of Tent City, and you are going to follow the rules in his house. All right. Because when he's hungry, he's gonna eat. When he's thirsty, he's gonna drink. When he wants some loving, he's gonna get some loving. And you have to remember that we live in a whole different era today. Tyrone is a whole different type of beast. Back in the old days, Tyrone used to go only for girls, but Tyrone is an equal opportunity fellow now. So he loves he likes both the girls and the guys. All right. He used to be only about the ladies. Now he's also about the fellas. So, you can get it in there too. I'm just being real. And like I said, when Tyrone wants some loving, he's gonna get some loving. So, Tyrone is an equal opportunity lender. But anyway, you're really gonna have to adapt to a changing situation and into a changing world, because poverty is going to be an extraordinary thing that's going to spread rapidly over Western society. We are definitely looking at a Great Depression, style, the Greater Depression occurring. I've talked about this countless times. I've been preaching about this, the everything bubble, where the everything bubble is going to pop. And when it does pop, you're going to be caught up in it, because most of you are not prepared for it.
Enough to support myself, let alone more kids. Others suggested, instead of pressuring people, why not implement real benefits? Just reallocate some of the system's retirement funds to mothers of 3 kids. No need for all these convoluted policies. Pressuring people won't help. If there were actual money on the table, wouldn't people pick it up? And according to tradition, you need connections for any real benefit.
Notice what they said. They said reallocate some of the system's retirement funds. Bro, that's where it goes. They can't. It's the boomers. I told you plenty of times. It's the boomers. The boomers are panicking because there's not enough money to pay their retirement. All right. They will go absolutely ballistic at the idea of anyone touching any of the money that's there. These people have scraped the pot clean. They scraped the pot clean. All right. They took everything and they still want more. And that's the reason why we're in this situation right now, because the boomers are panicking tooth and nail, knowing that there's no money, and now there's no next generation being born to fill the coffers. The state is going crazy. China's going crazy because they're consciously aware that, hey, in 20 years, 10, 20 years, there will be no more money in the country. There will be no more money in the country. They're already in dire need. They're already in an extraordinarily bad financial situation in China. The state is broke. It's just been hiding all of it for a very long time now. And what's going to end up happening is no children, no productivity, no money. All right. And just trying to keep on printing money indefinitely, it's not going to work out for them. They're going to feel it within a few years, and they don't have much time left, guys. History, they say, Mark Twain said history doesn't repeat itself, but history does rhyme, which means it essentially repeats itself. What happened before will happen again, because people never learn. And they can basically try to punish and demonize and arrest people and send them to re-education camps. But it's like forcing them to have children and then we're going to force you to have children. We're going to force you to take care of these children. We're going to force you to do all of these things. And it's about the collective, and you're not being a good citizen. It's a level of insanity, like something we have, guys. Who could have ever thought this madness up? You're essentially torturing your population. Like, if we are your property, then you need to pay for us. You need to house us. You need to do these things. You need to provide our food. Oh, you're going to basically starve us if we don't work harder and if we don't sacrifice more, because it's all about sacrifice. Look at this. Look at the nonsense. That's the same garbage you have from the simp pastors who are saying that complaining that men don't want to have relationships and don't want to have children, and saying that, you should not try to understand women. You should try to learn how to serve them and find a woman who you can serve. These are sick. And, your legacy will be one of sacrifice. Sacrifice will define your legacy. That's how you can have a legacy. You shouldn't be at home playing video games. You should be looking for a woman for whom you could sacrifice to. You should not be looking for a beautiful woman. Your mother was a beautiful woman, and she took care of you, and look how you turned out. No, you need to find a woman who really needs you, not one who likes you, but one who needs you and whom you can serve and constantly do more for. Guys, this is the simp. They are agents of the state. They are agents of the state. They are agents of you. They are enemies of humanity. And that's why you have to be mindful when it comes to these little jerks, because they're a bunch of good for nothing little crooks. They're a bunch of little sleazeballs that just want to take advantage of us, that just want to use us. Because, guys, as men, society does not like us. Society absolutely despises us. It absolutely despises us. And we have to be we have to be continuously well aware of it, that society does not like us, so we can protect ourselves, protect what we have, and go our and walk away or go our own way. I again, I'm not an MGTOW, but so many men are now choosing just to go their own way, because they're like, you know what, I'm walking away is basically walking away from things that don't work for you and walking towards the things that you do. So not all, I'll put it this way. All MGTOWs are also MWAs, but not all MWAs are MGTOWs. MGTOW is basically the final. It's the final thing where you're like, okay, I'm done with society and relationships, and I'm completely opting out. For example, passport kings are MWAs, men walking away, and they're basically MWAs are basically men with alternatives, or men with options. So they basically walk away from the things that are not working for them and finding and towards the things that do. MGTOWs are like, I'm not going to get married. I'm not going to have children. I don't give a damn about the society. It's about separating ourselves financially. So it's for MGTOWs, it's about separating themselves financially, economically, and socially from relationships and the state. So they don't want to have anything to do with the state, and they don't want to have anything to do with relationships. And it's spread throughout the world. It's spread throughout China, and it's not going to improve anytime soon. And it's women play a major role in this occurring, because they've pushed society to the brink of collapse. And of course, now they're facing the real reality, where men are the protectors of women. They think that they are powerful, and now they believe they're going to get a taste of what the state is like when the state turns around and tells them, no, we're in charge, we have the power, we can do whatever we want, and you're going to obey us or else. Okay. And women don't have anyone to turn to, because if men will not stand up and fight for society and fight for women, then who? Or we're gonna do it ourselves. Good luck, do it yourselves. All right. Oh, what are you gonna do? Oh, well, men, we need you to go and fight for us. Oh, really? Or what? Or we're gonna shame you, and we'll even accuse you of things if you don't do it. Like, this is that, guys, who would do something like that? That's why I told you they've been in cahoots with the state, and now the devil is coming to collect. The devil always betrays itself. Don't ever forget, guys. Never forget, guys. The devil always betrays itself, because that's how evil and wicked it is. All right. So now the individuals who did these things, the individuals who destroyed society, the individuals who fought to destroy humanity, now they're going to get their reward. Now they're going to get their punishments. They got their rewards. Now they're going to get their punishments. Those who went down the whole I'm misliberated thing, now they're going to get their punishments, because they got their reward. They got their ill-gotten gains first, and now they're going to face the consequences for those actions.
Some have urged, no matter how much they push, don't give in. If pigs don't breed, it's the pig farmers who worry, not the pigs.
If pigs don't have piglets, it's not the pigs who worry. It's the farmers and the feed sellers.
Do you think the government's heavy push for pro-birth policies, opening up second and third child options, will work?
Not really. How much can they offer? Some cities give 700 yuan a month for 3 years, totaling 20,000 yuan. But what can 20,000 yuan really do? It's not just a simple market transaction. There's so much more involved.
The Chinese government has actually been rolling out birth subsidies for some time. In 2022, 17 departments jointly issued a document promoting various incentives for having a third child, with regional governments following up with red envelopes to encourage births. Yet these measures have had little impact. The lack of success isn't just because the subsidies are low. The main issue lies in the implementation of these policies. Many promises remain unfulfilled, and it often feels as if the government is just misleading people. Zhengzhou's policy of optimizing births officially started on September 1st last year. It promised real financial support, including a one-time childcare subsidy of 2,000 yuan for the first child. 5,000 yuan for the second, and 15,000 yuan for the third and additional children born in Zhengzhou. However, many citizens reported issues when trying to claim these benefits. No one took responsibility. The promised childcare leave and extended maternity leave policies also remain unimplemented. A resident told Radio Free Asia, "They haven't actually followed through. I've been waiting to apply these subsidies they claim are available, but I never received a single penny. The policy is nothing more than a way to mislead people. It's just their usual tactic." Recently, as regions across China issued statements to encourage births, this Henan case has resurfaced, sparking heated discussions online. Some comments include, "You really believed it? They won't give you money after the baby's born. What can you do, return the kid? They might as well promise 500,000 yuan. Talking big isn't taxed, after all." Others sarcastically added, "Given the choice between distributing subsidies and just issuing statements, they opted for issuing statements." Another user pointed out, "They promised childcare subsidies that haven't materialized. If this isn't false advertising, what is? If an ordinary citizen complains, they face jail time, but the CCP freely deceives the public." A Zhengzhou resident commented, "It's been a year since they announced the third child subsidy, and there's still no payment." A Beijing resident shared, "This is like the current policies in Beijing. Lots of good news, but you never see the funds or the department actually implementing them." One comment hit the mark. "They've set up subsidy rules but haven't figured out where the money will come from." This issue isn't limited to Henan. Recently, a user shared an even more absurd case from Hubei. A friend of his in Hubei province, who has 3 children, applied for a subsidy. However, because his second pregnancy resulted in twins, the local government ruled that he didn't meet the 3-child standard. Then, he had a 4th child, which technically made it a 3rd pregnancy, but when he reapplied, the authorities still denied it, saying he didn't have the right number of children. In short, it's impossible to get the CCP to pay up. Some people have raised the question, why is the government pushing for a 2nd and even 3rd child? The reason is that most new birth rates in China now come from families who already have children. Data shows that when the 2-child policy was implemented in 2016, newborns reached almost 18 million, with second children making up 45.5%. In 2017, the total number of newborns slightly increased, but second-child births increased by 1.6 million, surpassing 50% of total births. This trend means that families with only one child are declining, and most new births rely on families having a second child. In the following years, the overall birth rate continued to decline, but second-child births remained above 50% of all births. This indicates that families with children are carrying the burden of boosting the birth rate, while many young people truly don't want kids. Why are young people today reluctant to have children? Some women fear the physical risks of childbirth and the impact on aging. But the main reason is financial. They simply can't afford to raise a child. China's so-called supportive birth policies are mostly superficial, and young women still frequently lose their jobs for having children. With a stagnant economy, high youth unemployment, and waves of company closures, layoffs, and pay cuts, it's challenging enough for young people to survive, let alone take on the responsibility of a family. Furthermore, many young people don't want children because they don't want to get married, mainly due to the pressures associated with marriage, expensive dowries, housing costs, and the financial demands of family life. This pressure to have kids is ultimately futile.
Here we go again, with brilliant experts coming up with ideas to encourage people over 40 to have a 3rd child. So now they're focusing on those born in the 70s and 80s. And the reward is a whopping 5,000 yuan. Honestly, you won't get a penny out of the post-2000 generation. They're squeezing every bit they can from those born in the 70s and 80s. These experts sure are something else.
That's why the new birth encouragement offices are now mainly targeting people born in the 1980s and 70s. One person commented,
So they're targeting older millennials and Gen X. Y'all, they better not mess with us. Like, they really need to better not mess with us here in America, because they mess around, they find out. This is the FAFO generation. Mess around, find out. Mess around, find out. Imagine saying, "Listen, y'all, you start having some kids. It's a matter of you need to get the hell out of my face, bro." Like, this is they did this to themselves. They chose this for themselves, so let them go and deal with this themselves, all right? Like I said, guys, nothing says you care like crypto. Y'all remember that? Nothing says you care like crypto, like crypto. Oh my gosh. It's the truth, though. It's the truth, guys. You know, you shouldn't be wasting your time on any of this crap. Shouldn't be wasting any of your time, guys. We have a big promotion going. Like I said, it's about to end, but you should definitely go check it out. We actually have an incredible sale happening right now over at Angry's Crypto Academy. Everything is 50% off. So definitely go and check it out before the sale ends. The Academy is linked in the description of this video.
5,000 yuan. People in their 40s and 50s are considered high-risk pregnancies. That money barely covers a couple of prenatal checkups, let alone all the other issues that come with it. Do these experts really not understand why people aren't having kids? I don't believe it. The real solution lies in making people wealthier and society fairer. Another pointed out, those who can afford to have second or third children don't need a few thousand yuan. It's just a bonus for them. But for those struggling to raise even one child, 1,000 couple isn't enough to make a difference. So let's be rational. Don't risk financial ruin over a mere 1,000 or 2,000 yuan. Another highlighted the root of the issue. Animals don't reproduce when their environment is too harsh. It's the same for people. This blogger said it best.
Recently, there's been a slew of new policies encouraging people to have kids, but no one's taking it seriously. It's like they've tried CPR, defibrillators, adrenaline shots, and even a ventilator, but they're still not letting go of the hand squeezing our throats. What's the point?
Everyone knows the real reasons young people aren't having kids. As one commenter pointed out, these so-called incentives only address the symptoms, not the root cause. Under the current system, where basic human rights aren't even guaranteed, why would anyone want to have children only for them to endure the same hardships?
Guys, men are being arrested for refusing to have children, and you're just going to continue seeing more and more guys walking away from society, and women are going to say, men, help us, and men are just going to whisper no. Let me know your thoughts regarding all of this, and we'll talk about it in the comments. Like the video if you like it. Don't forget to subscribe. And if you like the video, share the video, and just remember that all roads lead to MWA, men walking away. And cheers.
Nothing says you care like crypto. Nothing can compare. Nothing says you care like crypto. Oh, nothing can compare to crypto.